Welcome to The Sound, KQAL-FM's weekly behind-the-scenes look at Midwestern-made music. From writing and recording to distribution and promotion, The Sound is your source for new releases and exclusive interviews from Midwestern artists. Support for The Sound is made possible by a grant from the Minnesota Arts and Cultural Heritage Fund. Rolling. Tonight on The Sound, we bring you an exclusive look at the latest album by Molly Brandt, titled American Saga, which comes out this Friday, September 4th, 2024. Molly Brandt is a rising star in the Minneapolis country scene, but she pulls from a variety of genres on American Saga, making it an eclectic mix that has a little something for everyone. American Saga includes everything from banjos and chimes to synthesizers and distorted guitars on tunes ranging from classic country arrangements to straight-up pop. American Saga is Molly Brandt's second full-length album and is proof that she has a lot more to say. So if you're looking for something a little different, or just something real darn good, well, Molly Brandt's got you covered. I'm Bill Stoneberg saying kick your shoes off, kick back, throw one back, and get back as we bring you an exclusive look at Molly Brandt's latest album, American Saga, tonight on The Sound. That was Nicotine, and that's the first track from the new album by Molly Brandt called American Saga, which comes out this Friday, September 27th, 2024. Molly Brandt's from Minneapolis, and we have Molly on the phone with us tonight. How you doing, Molly?
Doing great. How about you?
Good, good. Thanks so much for being on the show again. We had you on the show for your last album, which was fantastic. I've been super excited for this album all summer because you've been like releasing singles here and there,
hmm
and
Yeah.
oh my God, there's a lot to talk about here. A lot to talk about. And I just recently saw you live at Palmer's for City Country Fest, and you guys were fantastic. Just, oh my God,
Thank you.
so
We
good.
had so much fun.
Oh, and it
Great
looked,
event.
and you could tell too. You could tell too. I think everyone was
Good.
having fun, So,
Yeah.
yeah, good times for sure, for sure. You know, like I said, I've been really excited about this album. And we talked, I think, about a year ago about your first album.
hmm
So kind of bring us up to speed. Like, what's been going on like this past year in like the making of this record?
Um, we started writing some songs kind of, I think, in June, July of last year. So right around when the last album was uh, getting out in the world, and
Mm-hmm.
then kind of finished up writing these songs in, December, January of this past of last year, and went to the studio in January of 2024. Um, well, we'd been recording a bunch of stuff at home too, so the album's kind of half recorded at our house and
Nice.
half recorded at Honeytone Studio, which is out in Neenah,
Oh,
Wisconsin.
cool. You did your last
Uh,
one there too, didn't you?
I
Or
did
some of it?
one track there.
Okay. Okay.
Um, and then this album we recorded like the drums and the vocals and like acoustic guitar there and just a few other little things, but did
Mm-hmm.
did the bulk of recording at home, so it was kind of like a hodgepodge process putting it together.
Right.
And yep, and then starting in April, started releasing a single a month and went on tour in May for a couple weeks, and then have been just performing in around the Midwest since then, in lots of new places in Wisconsin and northern Minnesota. And this weekend we're going up to Bayfield,
Oh,
Wisconsin
nice. Beautiful.
to play at Big Top.
Oh,
So
that's
just
right.
a lot of performing and getting the singles out there and preparing for the album drop.
Yeah, I saw that Big Top Chautauqua show. Them Cooley Boys, right? I think you're playing with,
Yeah,
maybe. Yeah.
yep,
Oh my gosh,
very exciting.
if I was closer to that, I would be there in a heartbeat. Oh my gosh. Oh my
I
gosh.
just realized how far away it is, so
It is. It is.
more driving.
And but Bayfield is beautiful. Oh my gosh,
I
what a
bet.
gorgeous area. So you're gonna love it. You're gonna love it. You know, like right off the bat, like this first tune we played, Nicotine.
hmm
Right off the bat, man, this album, like it, I guess showcases like the thing that jumps out at me the most. And correct me if I'm wrong, but this is just my opinion. First, first listen. Uh, you have some unconventional sounds on this album,
hmm
on some fairly like kind of conventional tunes, which to me is really cool. Like these songs to me, like the way they're written, the way you perform them, very Americana, very kind of country leaning. But some of the sounds and the sonic choices you guys make are like super interesting. Like Nicotine has like that heavy guitar sound,
hmm
that comes in about a third of the way through it or so. Um, like is that stuff intentional, I guess, is what I'm wondering. Like how much of that was like planned out, or how much of it is just happened because that's the direction you guys went, or where's it
I
come
think
from?
it's a little bit of both.
Okay.
Definitely like when I was writing Nicotine, it sort of felt more like just like a ballad that I was singing with myself and the guitar.
Right.
And then kind of this album is much more of a partnership with me and Eric Carranza, who's
Okay.
the my partner and my musical partner, and helped write some of these tunes and produce things. So when I brought him this song idea, he was kind of hearing his own, you know, gut reactions to it,
Mm-hmm.
and was like, I have an idea. Like, what if we bring in a more like, really nasty guitar like tone,
Right.
and
Yeah.
and and he added that to our track, and it was like, whoa, this is really impactful
Mm-hmm.
and unique. And I think there was the intention that I had set forth that I want to take risks, because I just don't want to play it safe. I don't want to make it sound just like everybody's album has in the last 10, 20 years, whatever, in the
Right.
Americana world. I want to forge my own sound, and a
Mm-hmm.
lot of that is intentional, but we are following the creative, we're following some sort of like instincts and some natural things that we're hearing, but it did end up accomplishing that goal of sounding unique and taking risks.
Right, totally, totally. And you're still like you're still serving the song. It's still like
Yeah,
it fits in with like what the song calls for.
yeah,
You guys just take it in such a cool direction, like, and to me this sets the tone for the whole album because I hear this on almost every one of the tunes on the album. Like there will be a little part that I'm like, oh wow, that doesn't. It kind of creeps up on you and surprises you in a really kind of delightful way. I think.
well, thank you for saying that. That
Yeah.
means a lot to hear that is coming through.
Oh,
uh,
totally. It totally is. You have a banger of an album here. You really do. Really
Thanks,
do.
man.
Well, I remember the last time we talked for your first record, you said those were the first batch of tunes you ever wrote. And that kind of
Yeah.
floored me, because I think those are super well constructed songs, super interesting. I mean, there's a lot of people who, you can write a song and it's like, okay, that's solid. That's solid. But,
Yeah,
but it doesn't grab me. And,
yeah.
and then, but this, man, both these albums, both your first one and this one, really grabbed me. I'm like, holy crap, this is some really solid stuff here. And beyond that, it's interesting. It's
Well,
very
thank you.
interesting.
I'm
Yeah.
definitely struggling with the whole self-doubt thing, of course, but and these
Oh my
these
gosh.
are this is my second batch of songs, so I haven't really like I'm not like super prolific. It's just like, all right, let's do this and let's release it, and
Well,
and in my mind I'm thinking, gosh, I need years more of practice and experience, but whatever, this is what it is.
oh my gosh.
But it means a lot that you are like, oh, this is good.
Oh, I love it, love it,
I don't
and
know.
I can't wait to hear the album you do when you do have like years and years of experience writing. Like what's
Yeah,
that going to sound like if this sounds so good? So
it's going to be way better.
super cool, super cool. Well, let's get back into some tunes. Let's play some songs for people, and then we'll come back and talk about this stuff
All
some
right,
more.
let's do it.
This next tune, it kind of follows in the same way. There's like, I believe banjo, and then there's some chimes that come in that just like, I'm a
Mm,
sucker for things like that. I'm a big
yeah,
Beach Boys fan,
little
pop
ear
music.
candy.
Yeah, exactly, the ear candy. So this one's got that too.
Oh, we love
Um,
the Beach Boys.
Cool, cool. Well, and I think, well, we'll talk about your vocals too after this, and some of the background vocals. Oh my gosh,
Yeah,
just absolutely love it. But anyway, let's play this song, I guess. This
sweet.
this next one is called "Ashes." Follow that sound, and this is off of the new album by Molly Brandt called American Saga, and you're listening to it on the Sound right here on 89.5 KQAL.
There's been ashes in my bed and on the floor, smoke and everything inside. Blood on the nightstand, maybe I should go outside. There's a wildfire burning up the sky.
That is Ashes, Follow That Sound. And that's a track from the latest album from Molly Brandt called American Saga. And we have Molly on the phone with us tonight. Molly, that one's got, like I said, there's some, that ear candy, like you said, is still in there. You got banjo mixed with the chimes, which to me is just a super cool combination. And then there's a vocal part at the end where the song just kind of like morphs into this really cool kind of like soft feeling vocal part.
Mm-hmm.
So how, and you mentioned that Eric had a heavier hand in writing, with this record with you,
Mm-hmm.
or like a bigger part of it.
Mm-hmm.
So how did this tune come about, and like the arrangement of that and that cool vocal part at the end? Like, can you walk us through your process of like how this tune came to be?
Yeah, we were preparing, Eric and I were preparing for kind of a theatrical project that we were doing in Lanesboro last summer.
Oh, cool.
And we were just kind of like, the theme of it was had to do with climate change.
Mm-hmm.
And so I was just kind of like, okay, let me, this was my foray getting back into songwriting after the last album.
Right.
So I was kind of like just playing around with different things. I was listening to a lot of newer bluegrass kind of folksy music, a lot of Sarah Jarosz and Nickel Creek
Mm-hmm.
and stuff like that I felt like was inspiring, just the vocal melodies that I was sort of playing around with, and I just really liked the major seventh and suspended chords that were giving me this opportunity to sing in a way that felt like kind of like Joni Mitchell kind of vibes,
Nice.
and more different like tonalities and more interesting melodies. But I think I was just sort of like doing a lot of bike riding last summer, and this melody was kept playing through my head, and that's where I was sort of coming up with words while I was on the bike. Um and a lot of the vocal embellishments and ornaments were kind of inspired by like my days in the choral music world.
Cool.
So I was just kind of like utilizing my memories from being in choir to make this kind of cacophony of sounds with the voice.
Right.
So
Right.
that was the process there.
Cool. I love that how an artist's like background and the different projects and things you've worked on in the past kind of come
Hmm.
together to create the new thing. I
Hmm.
think that's super cool. Super cool.
Yeah.
Has your like you said, this is the second batch of tunes you've ever written.
Yep.
Did your process change much since the first batch, or I'm
Uh,
assuming this was
kind
shorter
of.
time period, maybe, right, or no, or.
Wait, say that
I
last
was
part
going to
again.
say, I'm assuming maybe this was a shorter time period you wrote these in than the first batch, or
Yes.
not? Yeah.
I mean, yeah, it was like from June till December. So
Right.
that's like half of a year, which I think just having Eric there to help bounce off ideas,
Mm-hmm.
and
Sure.
like a few of the songs where like we wrote in a different way, where I had the idea for a lyrical or story concept, but no other musical elements. And Eric would come up with the kind of like groove slash chord progression.
Okay.
And then I would take that, he'd make a little demo. I'd take that and sing over top of it, in kind of this like puzzle way where, we're each coming up with a part. But I'd say in terms of the writing process, I'm coming up with like 99% of the vocal melodies and lyrics,
Okay.
whereas Eric's coming in with some of the like instrumental arrangements slash the groove elements, the
Right.
percussive elements and instrumental elements of that. And just having that help, that encouragement. We moved into a house together last May, so this was
Mm-hmm.
right around the time where we were like, okay, we live in this house together now, we have these creative spaces in our house. And then I can go off to a room by myself, and then he's in the next room. I say, hey, I just came up with this verse, let's go over it. Or we would spend nights sitting on the porch in our backyard and just kind of playing stuff outdoors. And
Cool.
yeah, just the backdrop of summer and in being in this new space, this house where it feels like the creative energy can really flow
Right.
when you have that space. That changed the process for me, where it was a lot more just collaborative with Eric,
Mm-hmm.
and feeling really encouraged to keep going, because I think when you're just writing by yourself, it's like you're in your own head, and no one's there to give you a second opinion. And Eric's
Mm-hmm.
very encouraging, and that just kept me going. And then he kind of was noticing that my songs started to follow a pattern of, like, I'm writing a lot of songs about characters
Right.
and
Right.
I'm writing a lot of songs about places
Mm-hmm.
and a lot of things that have to do with, just very typical American scenes. And he was like, what if this album is called American Saga? And I was like, that's a great idea. And then that informed me just finishing the last few tunes, songwriting the last few tunes. And so yeah, it was just kind of came together really fast, which I don't know if that'll be the way that it comes together in the future, but just
Right.
sort of was like, all right, let's put it together, let's go for it. Yeah.
That's awesome. It's almost like it's in a like an accelerated period, maybe even because you're,
Hmm.
you have that support at home with
Hmm.
Eric, and then with the creative spaces that you guys
Yeah,
have. I mean, that just sounds like a breeding ground for songwriting. Just like wow,
absolutely.
very
Yeah.
cool, very cool. I
And
think
because we
that's
can record things and we have our basement studio now,
right.
it's like, okay.
So you
So
get
I
it
think the
down.
next album, we're just going to record everything down there, and
Nice.
save some time and money and whatnot. But
Mm-hmm.
yeah, it's really good to have the space.
Very cool. Very cool. You mentioned coming up with story concepts and lyrics and stuff like that. Is
Mhm.
that usually how it starts for you with the concept or?
I mean,
Yeah.
I guess, and I remember telling you this last year,
Uh
like,
huh.
just I don't know what the typical process is yet, and I'm not
Right.
like locked into like, oh yeah, this is how I typically write, because I don't want to marry myself to that.
Totally.
Versus rather, I'm trying to figure out, different things, different ways I can try to create and just throw stuff at the wall and see what sticks. But
Right.
yeah, I think that actually happens a lot for me, is I have a story idea, or I
Mm-hmm.
have the title of a song. I'm like, this would be a great title for a song.
Right.
But what is this song about? And in terms of our partnership with me and Eric, I'm definitely more of the like lyrics slash stories person slash, getting really into like the poetry and the and not to say that Eric doesn't do that, because he writes his own songs and stuff, but he's
Mm-hmm.
got kind of a different method, whereas
Right.
I'm a person who's just very into history and
Mm-hmm.
reading, books, documentaries, podcasts, and I definitely try to infuse my love for history and culture and politics with music.
Right.
So yeah,
Cool. Cool.
it's fun.
Well, it sounds like you guys have slightly different writing styles, but very complementary.
Yeah,
Which is awesome,
absolutely.
and I think
Yeah.
it really shows on this record too. Well, before we talk through the whole hour, let's let's play another tune for folks.
All right.
And speaking of concepts, this next one is a character song too, Mr. Texas,
Yes.
and it features Riley Downs. We'll have to talk about that also.
Hmm.
So we'll play this song for folks, and then we'll come back and talk about everything. I'm here with Molly Brandt tonight. Her new album's called American Saga, and this next tune is called Mr. Texas, featuring Riley Downs. And you're listening to it on The Sound right here on 89.5 KQAL.
We don't talk about that man ever since the night he decided to put his hands on you. Then the whole town called you a liar. You disposition. We don't associate with that round here. He's a bastard, nobody's missing. He's always been a different breed of insufferable man. He's just a convenience store cowboy. He's his own biggest fan. He thought he was Johnny Cash, but he never wrote a single tune. Thought he was Mr. Texas, Mr. Texas. Oh, girl, he was just fooling you. Oh, girl, he was just fooling you. Oh, girl, he was just fooling you.
That was Mr. Texas featuring Riley Downs, and that's a tune from the new album called American Saga from Molly Brandt from Minneapolis. And I have Molly on the phone with us tonight. All right, so there's a lot to unpack here, right? So this tune, like we were talking about your writing process before we played this tune, and this is one of those kind of character songs. And then also it features Riley Downs, another vocalist. So I don't know, where do you want to start with this one?
Yeah, I definitely was inspiring this on a real person, but it's inspired by a real person
Okay.
in our community.
Oh wow,
People will know. People can figure it out.
sure.
And someone who just has been awful to women and creepy and just like overall, piece of,
Right. Yeah,
and
yeah.
so I was just kind of like brainstorming on some phrases and words and sentiments, and me and my friends had been talking about this a lot last summer as we were trying to figure out what to do about it and how to approach this issue and in our community. And it's just kind of like a comedic / like poignant tune that I feel like sort of echoes like the Casey Musgraves High Horse or the Chicks Goodbye Earl kind of vibes.
Yep.
It's funny, but it's also like, this person sucks. And just kind of thinking like, oh, well, he thinks he's Mr. Texas. Like he thinks he's a real cowboy when he's really like, and it doesn't matter to me that he's pretending to be a cowboy. It's the hypocrisy of like thinking you're all that and being like mean to people at the same time.
Yeah.
Because I cosplay as a cowboy all day, every day. But I'm not. But it's this idea of him just thinking he's like Mr. I'm on the ranch dude when he's really just a city slicker who couldn't survive one day on the ranch, honestly.
Right.
And it's just like a fun little feminist kind of like anthem that just feels good to sing.
Right.
And Riley Downs and I went on tour back in May, and we were looking to have a single released. And I said, this song's already written. Why don't you sing on it? And we are touring to Texas, so let's put this out at the beginning of our tour. And
wow.
We did.
Cool. Easy as that, huh?
Yeah.
Did you know Riley before that, or?
Yes, we had met a year or so before that on Instagram.
Okay.
I think through mutual friends from Chicago, and we found each other on Instagram and started commenting on each other's things and messaging and noticing how much we had in common with each other and that we're both kind of doing this like independent artist thing. And she asked me one day, do you want to do a tour with us. And I was like, sure, let's go for it. I've never done a tour, but she's
Cool.
very well connected in Texas and in Nashville and
Okay.
some other places and in Chicago, obviously. And
Right.
she had me perform at one of the events that she hosts there with her husband Cody, called Stoned at the Jukebox. So if
Okay.
you're ever in the Chicago area, Stoned at the Jukebox happens on Sundays, like once a month. It's really great. They get country artists from Chicago and around the Midwest. And so I played a couple times. Now I think 3 times I've played in Chicago.
Cool.
And just sort of gotten connected with some of the country scene out there, which is really, really awesome. And so meeting friends through Instagram, it's funny.
Right. Right.
It'll change your life.
That's awesome. That is awesome. But really cool, productive things came out of that, super
Yeah.
cool.
And noted that she will be coming to the album release show to sing.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Awesome. Awesome. And that is October 4th, correct?
Yes.
Yes. Well, and that too, and like we were talking about the character songs, and things like that, whether it's true or not, whether it's a true story or not, can
Yeah.
open up like the conversation on the topic, on the
Yes.
subject,
Yes.
which is always good, I think. The more
Yeah.
we
And
talk.
even if it's,
Mhm.
well, even if it's not a real, even if it wasn't a real thing, everyone
Right.
knows somebody like that.
Exactly. So that's why it's important to have these conversations and talk about that stuff,
Hmm.
It's the only way we can get it to go away, right? So.
Absolutely.
And also this tune has more of those cool synth parts. Like there's that, I don't know if it's a percussion thing. There's like a really, do you know what I'm talking about? I would try
There's a
to
little
like,
motif.
yeah, there's like a little
Mhm.
tick things like that ear candy,
Oh, sure.
Yeah.
Yep.
I don't know how else to describe it, but man,
Yep.
I heard that and I was like, whoa, what was that? And I rewound it, like rewind it, but like
Hmm.
scrolled back a little bit and listened. Yeah, super cool, super cool. Let's play some more tunes. Otherwise, I'm just gonna gush about that song.
We could talk forever.
We totally could. And man, you got the tunes to talk about too. I'm here talking to Molly Brandt tonight. She's from Minneapolis area. The new album's called American Saga, and this next tune is called Daughter of the Oil Tycoon. And this one features the Sunsets, and we'll talk about that when we come back too. So here it is. This is Daughter of the Oil Tycoon, and you're listening to it on The Sound right here on 89.5 KQAL.
I'm the daughter of the oil tycoon.
And that was Daughter of the Oil Tycoon featuring the Sunsets. And that's a track off the latest album by Molly Brandt called American Saga. And I have Molly on the phone with us tonight. All right, Molly. So that tune, I think that's the first one we've played maybe that features the Sunsets. Can you kind of tell us about the Sunsets? Like, what is it? How did you guys get together? Yeah, what is it?
So it's a group of four gals, and they were formed together by Eric for his band's last EP release, which happened, I think, or happened I can't remember which month this year, but he had an EP release where we sang on most of those tunes. And while we were doing that, I was like, well, I have a tune that I think we could fit, a couple tunes that we could put them on the album. And so, we just made that happen, and turned out really well.
Oh, totally. I love it. I absolutely love it. And it gives it this cool, like the whole album's very cinematic, I think. I think we touched on that a little bit already, but the whole thing has this big feel of like a film,
That's awesome.
Big open spaces. It feels kind of Western, and I just absolutely love it. But this tune has that with the Sunsets, and you do the, I don't know if it comes at the end or if it's through the whole thing, but there's like a call and response thing going on, and the Sunsets, you hear you guys say things like fat cat suit to things, and it's just like, whoa, it's just a super cool feel, that brings to the table. I don't know. I just love it. And I guess I don't have a question. I'm just gushing about it. I just think it's awesome.
Thank you. Yeah. That's good. Yeah, we would just want, and that provides even more of the story, and I perform it with, obviously not usually with the Sunsets because logistics.
Sure, right.
And you can still get the story across, but, some of those lyrics that come through with the Sunsets add even more context to the story and more layers.
Right. Totally. Well, and there's another part of this too that I'm thinking about. We're going to play, you have some tracks throughout the album that are shorter, kind of instrumental tracks. And in a minute here, we're going to play one called The Reckoning featuring Eric Julio Carranza. And man, that really adds to the cinematic aspect. How did you what was the inspiration, I guess, for adding those tracks, and how'd you hook up with Eric and all that?
So to your point of it feeling cinematic, that was one of the goals, and kind of having it feel like an epic where we need these moments of reprise and a breath of just okay, we're sitting in this atmosphere and in this setting, and these songs are meant to have you, really putting yourself into the time and place and the vibe of what's going on there. I think The Reckoning, coming right after Daughter of the Oil Tycoon, kind of is maybe without using words and without being direct, is okay, these are the moments after what has happened in the Daughter of the Oil Tycoon. Maybe there's some sort of big moment where the oil refinery is being burned down, or there's a big, march in the streets, or there's a guillotine sort of moment. And now we are facing the reckoning of what's happened there. Or you can make up your own imaginative story. And then later on we have a tune that kind of whatever, it kind of comes out, it comes right after Dollar Stores and Strip Malls, so it's sort of here's the shadow of that song, here's the echo of that song, you hear the melodic motifs coming through, but sort of in a different way. And to me, it's giving you this feeling of nostalgia and melancholy nostalgia. And so I don't know, we're just creating these breaks and these vibes that are sort of making this a whole epic where you're being put in the feeling of the greater American saga.
Right. Totally. Oh my God. You just described the scenes in my head when I listen to the album,
Good.
Well, there's the track, And this is what's tough sometimes about doing this show is picking the music to fit within the hour, because there is a track called Revolution on the Horizon, which reminded me of what you were talking about, some, marching in the street and stuff. You have some kind of recurring themes like that Revolution on the Horizon. I think there's I don't know if it's a melody. There's something in there that I was like, ooh, did I hear that earlier in the album?
Yeah, so here's a little secret.
Okay.
I mean, not so secret. It's literally like the chorus from Ashes.
Okay. Yeah.
But what we've done is taken just the reverb portion of the vocals.
Cool.
And I'm not like the tech person to talk to about this, but this I think was Eric or Patrick at Honeytone's idea of like just hearing the reverb part of it, and kind of like that sounding really kind of trippy and messed up and like ethereal at the same time, and kind of that being like the epilogue, the outro. It is literally a recurring thing because it is the chorus from Ashes.
Oh, that's super cool.
At the very beginning.
Yeah, that is super cool, but just using the reverb track. I love it. I love it. Yeah, and like it's like the credits of the movie where there's going to be a sequel. That's what it feels like, so
yeah.
Absolutely love it. It makes you want more when the album's done, which is like really good quality for an album, right? So when you guys all right, so just for the all of us like liner notes geeks out there, like who produced technically? Was it Eric or the two of you combined? Like,
I mean, I guess it's like Eric and I, but like, he's taking on more of the like technology elements, or like the, what do you call it? The engineering.
Sure. Okay. Yep.
He's doing half the engineering. Patrick and Honeytone at Honeytone is doing the other part of the engineering and the mixing.
Oh, cool.
And so Patrick is sort of like getting that producer hat on, but it's mostly like Eric and I are really leading the charge of like, who's going to be the final decision maker on these little parts of things. So
right. Yeah. So did you guys? So this this next little tune we're going to play, the Reckoning. Did you guys do this at your house then, or?
Yeah. Okay. So we record. Eric actually. It's funny because it's like Molly Brandt is the artist featuring Eric, but it's actually just all Eric who did that.
Right. Right.
That was recorded all at our house, and then Patrick mixed it at Honeytone.
Very cool. That is very cool. I love it. I just think it's neat, Well, and this one in particular, The Reckoning, reminds me of those like spaghetti westerns a little bit too,
Yeah.
So you got that kind of showdown feel, and you can, it's like you can hear the wind, you're like, the sweat dripping off their face, it's like, total showdown type stuff. I love it. Absolutely love it. So, did you guys know you wanted to do that right away, or is that something that came about? Like, and do you guys have you worked with Eric Julio before, or
Well, so I think when we started to come up with the idea of like what the album's going to be called, and like the general idea of how what that's going to look like, I think Eric just had these ideas floating in his head, and sort of went ahead and made a bunch of like interludes, and we kind of were like, okay, this might fit here, this might fit here. And Eric and I met let's see, when did we meet? End of 2021. We started dating in 2022. Like, wait, what the heck? It's been 2.5 years, I guess. and when we met, I hadn't been working with him musically, but he sort of contributed a little bit on one of my tunes on the last album, and then started integrating into the band. I just needed a guitarist, and he was like down to work with me, and that just seemed to work really good, to have him be in the band and be my romantic partner. Right. It's great. Highly recommend it.
Well, it's working out for you guys, that's for sure. It sounds great. So yeah.
Thanks.
Yeah, for sure. Well, let's go ahead. We've talked about this probably longer than the tune is, so let's go ahead and play The Reckoning
Go for
here.
it.
This is The Reckoning featuring Eric Julio Carranza, and it's a tune off of the new album from Molly Brandt called American Saga. And we're talking to Molly here. We'll be back with her in a little bit. Here it is. This is The Reckoning, and you're listening to it on The Sound right here on 89.5 KQAL. That was The Reckoning featuring Eric Julio Carranza, and that is a track off the latest album from Molly Brandt called American Saga. And we have Molly on the phone with us tonight. Molly, so we're getting to the end here. We're getting short on time, but there's a few things that I want to ask. And I know I asked you this last time, but it's always fun to hear how things evolve and change through time. What artists have you been listening to lately? Like, who is in your player a lot? Who do you, who's the new thing that you're listening to? Or it could be an old thing or whatever.
So this summer I've been listening, I mean, obviously the pop girlies are just going off this summer.
Right.
We've got Charlie XCX's Brat, obviously.
Nice.
Sabrina Carpenter, just been listening to her new album that dropped a few weeks ago, Short and Sweet. Love it. Every song's a banger.
Cool.
Cactus Blossoms just came out with a new album that I really enjoy. I mean, it seems like everybody and their mother is releasing albums this year.
Right.
Sierra Farrell's new album is awesome.
Yes,
Jack
it is.
White's new album.
Oh, yeah.
Charlie Crockett. Just, everyone's doing it.
Right.
It's great.
Right.
And actually right now I've been listening to a lot of podcasts. So
cool.
it's, I don't know, I go through these phases of like, oh, I'm just going to go like really deep into podcast world. So
yeah. Well, and sometimes it's nice to get further away from like music itself sometimes.
Absolutely.
And just kind of give your ears a rest and your brain a rest, so.
Yeah. Well, I wouldn't say it's giving my brain a rest because there's a lot to think about with these podcasts.
Sure.
But,
What kind of podcasts you listen to?
I've been listening to Serial. I listened to a season that was talking about Guantanamo Bay. I just listened to a season that was talking about Bo Bergdahl.
Interesting.
I've been listening to Pod Save America, political podcast, just kind of following the election.
Sure.
I've been listening to some lectures on like historical topics. I like to listen to the ancients, ancient history.
Nice.
What else? I was listening to one that was like about dictators. So just really cheery stuff.
Right. But like you said, that does keep your brain active and you, and who knows, there's a lot of cool stories in history, that could be transferred into a song probably. So
that's what I'm thinking.
Very cool. That's awesome. And then another thing I'm curious about before we go here, boy, I almost forgot this one. This album, like I said, I probably said this before we turned the mics on, but you had come out with a single like almost every month this summer.
Yeah.
And you were sending those to us as you went as well. So, which was, I think, fantastic promotion. I put those on the air as soon as you send them. And,
thank you.
Yeah, for sure. And it's almost like an old school way of doing it, like releasing singles in anticipation of the record and things like that. But a lot of people never come out with then the full length. It's just singles, you know. And I probably asked you this last time, but do you think that albums are going away? I mean, this is totally a solid
No.
record. Like, you know what I mean?
I don't think albums are going away. I mean,
Cool.
I don't know. I'm not like an industry expert by any means.
Right.
I'm just like a little newbie.
Right?
I love listening to albums.
Yeah.
And I feel like it's pretty common for people to release a single or two, not necessarily 6 like I've done because I'm just psycho.
I think it's
I don't think I'll
working.
be doing that again.
Oh, yeah. I bet it was a lot of work.
It was a lot of work and money.
Right.
But, you know, I really liked the creative side of it, of coming up with the aesthetic and,
Oh, totally.
you know, the photos and the videos and all that was fun.
Mhm.
But, yeah, I mean, I'll try to do it probably different the next time. We're just taking a stab at it and see what
Right,
happens,
right.
I guess.
Totally. And I think from a fan standpoint, from an audience perspective, I think that's super fun as well to see the different aesthetics with the different singles, how they tie together, you know, what's going to be released next. You have that anticipation. I think great strategy. I think it's working for you guys for sure. So this can be heard. It comes out this Friday, the 27th, September 27th, 2024. The album's called American Saga by Molly Brandt. Molly's from the Minneapolis area. All major streaming platforms, I'm assuming, right?
Yep.
How about information like show dates, future releases, merch? Where's the best place people can go for that stuff?
MollyBrandt.com has all the show dates and a place where you can order some merch. Running low on t-shirts, so get yours. Or you can just go to my Instagram or my, you know, any social media to find out more, and there's usually a link with, you know, all my other links on there. And so, yeah, check it out.
Awesome. Sounds good. Will there be physical releases of this? And more importantly, will there be vinyl?
So definitely CDs. I just put in the order.
Okay, cool.
Vinyl, very likely not,
Okay.
because I'm
It's
completely
spendy.
out of money.
Yeah.
For being honest. And the album is like over an hour long. So, you know, doing a vinyl would take a 2-disc type of
Right.
situation, which, and I don't know what the demand is, honestly. It's been pretty slow to sell my, you know, merch as it is, I guess. So I'm like, I really don't know if that's something I can do.
Right,
but
right.
maybe the next one. I know people ask about vinyl all the time, but
Right.
it's just another thing to organize, which, not to say I'm not willing to do it. I just think it doesn't make sense for me right now.
Yeah, and there's a lot. I think there's more than people realize that goes into being an artist, you know?
Yep.
I mean, because it's not like you have a record label behind you doing all these things and all you have to do is sing, you know? I mean, there's so much involved. So much involved. So, no, that's perfectly okay. I can't wait to get the CD then, for sure.
Sweet.
So, what's next on the horizon? You have this release show at Ice House, October 4th, 2024. What's next? Are you planning another tour sometime soon?
Not necessarily. I'm just,
Okay.
I have a few shows that are on the horizon, sort of November and maybe December, but
Okay.
I'm thinking about taking a little bit of a break in the winter just to, you know, maybe get back into songwriting and just
Sweet.
taking that time. But yeah, trying to apply for festivals for next year and you know, figure out what's going on, get through the election season, get through the
Right.
winter. I'm stressed, man. I'm stressed about the election. So if you're listening, please vote
Right. Yeah, totally.
for the right person. Please.
Right. Totally. We hear you, Molly. We hear you loud and clear, and we'll help. We'll do what we can. Right.
Okay.
So, well, thank you so much for joining us. We're kind of out of time, so we'll
Yep.
go out with another tune here. I've been here talking to Molly Brandt tonight. Her latest album's called American Saga. It comes out this Friday, September 27th, 2024. I highly, highly recommend it. And if you've been listening along, you know. This is a good album. You're going to want to have it. So this last tune, we're going to go out with Sun Up featuring the Sunsets. Let's talk about that before we go. So Sun Up featuring the Sunsets. That's just kind of cool. That's a cool like title thing going on there. How does this song play into kind of the whole arc of the album?
Well, it's a moment to celebrate joy and having fun and love and just pleasure, I guess. And it's like taking place in the desert, possibly like, I don't know, Arizona, New Mexico, somewhere around there, and just kind of like tripping, just having a trip.
Cool. Well, it does have a different sonic kind of feel and sound to it too.
Yeah, it's totally a different vibe.
Yeah. Which is very cool. I mean, like I said, it's a solid record, but there are little varieties and variations in it that are like, ooh, you know, and this is one of those, I think. So, all right, Molly, we're not going to take up any more of your time. Let's play this tune for folks. Again, thank you so much for joining us. Absolutely.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, for sure. And hopefully we'll see you down here in the Winona area sometime soon. That would be great.
Oh,
too.
actually, there's a surprise coming up.
Uh-oh. Yeah?
Uh-oh. You will see me in Winona.
So surprise?
You'll find
okay.
out. You'll find out.
Oh, cool. Oh, I can't wait. Awesome. Like I said before, we're talking to Molly Brandt tonight. Her new album, American Saga. Go get it. It comes out officially this Friday, September 27th, 2024. Here it is. This is another track from it called Sun Up, featuring the Sunsets. And you're listening to it on The Sound right here on 89.5 KQAL.
Set my
Thanks again to Molly Brandt for joining us tonight on The Sound. To hear more from Molly, check her out on mollybrandt.com, Bandcamp, or your favorite streaming platforms. For more deep dives into local and regional albums, tune into The Sound every Wednesday night at 6 right here on 89.5 KQAL. You can also listen to past episodes of The Sound with extended interviews and exclusive content on your favorite streaming services. Find links at kqal.org. I'm Bill Stoneberg, and we've just heard from Minneapolis' own Molly Brandt on The Sound. Thanks for listening to The Sound. The Sound is produced by KQAL-FM on the campus of Winona State University. Visit us online at kqal.org. Theme music for The Sound provided by Mike Terrell of Fires of Denmark.